how can men be allies in the journey of women empowerment?
Thanks, Arjun. In fact, having worked for so many years and having made it a mission to empower women, I have realized that women are very aware and they are very empowered. And I say this with all seriousness, and it has to begin in the home. And partly we women are to blame because we are the ones who are perpetuating the traditions and the norms as they were and allowing our sons and brothers to feel that they are, something more equal than their sisters in the homes. And so I have always made it a point to tell women that it is your responsibility, and it will be only through sensitizing the boys from when they are very young. And we have so many stereotypes, as young as they are toddlers. I mean, I can see it, my granddaughter is going to, she's just finished her toddler class. And they give options about which activity you would like to do. And very pointedly, they will say, do you want to take cooking if it's a girl? And do you want to take, blocks and, some construction, something, if it's a boy? I mean, these are stereotypes that get embedded in the psyche of the child, and this is something that they grow up with. And that is something that we have to start, removing right from that level. And therefore, it is the mindset that has to change. And I'm saying this, but I have to confess, and I said that this is the only way that I'll atone for that wrong that I did. I do so much of work in empowerment and other things. And the last flight that I took was to Bangalore, and it was just 2 days before that news of one of the flights, I think from Bangkok, because of a lot of turbulence, it dropped down so many, and so everyone at home, oh, you're flying today, just be careful, there's the weather, this and that and the other. I said, okay, fine. And went ahead with my travel plans. And just as I was putting on my seatbelt and all, welcome aboard, I'm your captain, Rekha Shetty, and my heart just sank. And then I shared with my very close friend, I said, you know what? Just as I sat down and I was just trying to make myself comfortable and forget about turbulence, and welcome aboard, I'm your captain, Rekha Shetty, and I can. And then she said, so mean, how could you be like that? You are the one who's doing so much of work in empowerment and all, and why do you feel that a lady pilot is in any way less than a male pilot? So I said, best of us can get guilty of that. But really, it is the mindsets that happen.
That's the conditioning, I would say.
Yes, that's what.
We were brought up that when we hear our fathers, the moment there is a bad driver in front, you hear your father, you hear your husband, even the lady driver. It's the conditioning. Exactly.
I'm sitting at the back of my driver. Suddenly she can become my like that. But that's the thing about mindsets. And then it is also all of us in the homes as well. Like my daughter has always protested against my mother, because my mother would say to my son, you don't have to do this. And she would tell my daughter, lay the table, clear the dishes. why should I do it? I'm not going to do it today. It is his turn. If you want me to do it today, tell him to do it tomorrow. That kind of thing. And she would assert herself so much so my mother would blame me. You're not bringing them up properly, that kind of a thing. But then that's what we have to do. We have to change the conditioning of our minds. I remember one lesson I used to study. I used to teach population studies in Goa College, and one of the chapters would be on malnutrition and things like that. And I just said to my class, I said, maybe all of you won't realize it, but there's so much of malnutrition more among girls than boys, and you may not realize it, but this is what happened. And one bright spark just piped up and said, no, ma'am, it happens even in our homes. All the best fish is given to my brother and my father, and only if it remains, it comes to me, and my mother never gets any of it. So, this is the conditioning in the homes, and that has to change. And from there will come all the change. So, whenever in college also, organizations would come and say, we want to do women empowerment sections. Can you send all the girls? I would tell them, no, I will send all the boys. You please first sensitize them about what empowerment is all about, and then husband sharing work at home, husband sharing. I mean, if you expect a woman to be equal to you, to be working outside the home, working in as stressful jobs as you are working, then it's only fair that they can come back to a home where other responsibilities are also divided, and then mothers-in-law and all can keep saying that, what kind of training have you got in your mother's house? You're allowing your husband to do that. My mother used to be appalled, like when I was newly married years ago, that was. And she would come to me and say, get up, your husband has already woken up, make his tea and all that. I said, look, he'll take care of himself, don't disturb me. And she would be shocked. But then that's something we have to really make a beginning. Each of us has to think that our girls are as precious as our boys, and that is where the change will come.
I want to comment on that. You wanted suggestions for Rotary, what you should do. I think you should have awareness programs for boys specific, because one of the things they identified when we say national, international conferences evaluating the success of empowerment is that we have left our boys behind. We say we have left our girls behind. Actually, we have left our boys behind. And we've had so many empowerment programs for women that women have gone far, but the boys have not been able to match up or keep pace with the empowerment of girls. So we have to see that the boys also keep pace. And though I agree that empowerment is individual of the woman, but society has it creates a lot of obstacles, and we will elaborate on that. And you have to overcome these obstacles. And if you want these obstacles to reduce, then one of the things which we need to do is have awareness programs for boys. And we have a lot of groups now. Boys have formed groups to bring awareness among girls. And I'm saying it can be a mixed group, but Rotary Club can have programs, especially instead of a women's empowerment program for women. You should have how do society look at rights of women, or even just changing attitudes. Now we talk about democratic relationship in the family. So without saying men and women, take a neutral topic. Democratic relationship in the family. So we are instilling democratic values, like Radhika has said, sharing of household responsibility. Both are working. Then how do we manage this? How do we share household responsibilities? How do we share responsibilities of children? Whatever. So without making anyone feel that my rights are going, or my privileges are going. So if we start from the family, this would be a very good program from the, and what happens, Rotary clubs and all, they are, it's like people look at certain organizations to see what is trending. And if they see this trending, this sends a message right down. Yeah.
I'd just like to add, Harsh, one of the very good programs that Goa University started under the Vice Chancellorship of Professor Varun Sani was Gender Champions. And I must say, to the credit of that, the Vice Chancellor, he would make it a point to tell the principals that if I come to your campus, you have to first show me who your gender champions are. And one gender champion would have to be a boy and the other one a girl. And you will have to tell me what exactly they are doing as gender champions, you know, what they are doing to for the cause. And the colleges rose to the occasion and they would, you know, really work on the Gender Champions program. So as Sabina is suggesting to you, Rotary can take that up very well, and in all its, maybe you have some institutional Rotary clubs, you could introduce that over there, and a lot can happen. Thanks.
Thank you. Heda, have you, as a person, as an author, as an activist, drawn professional inspiration from other people? What are your experiences in this space?
Actually, my biggest guru was my mom. Yeah. She wasn't highly educated. She had just done what was called senior Cambridge in those days from the St. Joseph's Convent in Panchkani. But she was self-taught. She used to read everything she could lay her hands on. She instilled a love for books in us, and she instilled a love for reading and writing. So I think, without a doubt, I also had very good neighbors in Baroda where I grew up. I had Jaishri Tai, who used to expose me to Marathi language, Marathi literature, and magazines used to come to their place and she would help me with my Marathi. And today I'm a Marathi translator from Marathi to English because of that informal education that I had. Jaishri Tai was my university when I was growing up. Having said that, let me share a story with all of you. I was in Panchkani on my way back to Goa, and we were packed, and driver was waiting for me to say, let's go, we are ready. And I told him, Vijendra, thoda ruko, mera poetry class chal raha hai. Guess what the driver says to me? He says, Madam, is umar mein poetry karne lage? Now, what umar is that? When am I supposed to not do poetry? I want to know. So, education doesn't stop. Please, I'm repeating this, I know. But whatever your inspiration is, latch on to them. Maybe your mother-in-law who's never been to school. Maybe your grandmother who's only knows the kitchen and nothing else. I've been in this book, for example, there are families where the mother-in-law said to the daughter-in-law when she first entered the house, don't go out of the kitchen, the whole world is here. So for her world was in that kitchen, and it could be also. Yeah. So I wouldn't challenge anything. I would say every source of every person is a resource, and you have something or the other to learn. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Fla, you have mentored scores of men and women over the years as a teacher, as an educator. As a person, what are the things that, if you had known earlier about work and professionalism as a woman, would have changed things for you differently, or you would have looked at it differently?
When we were growing up, I don't think we had as many opportunities for doing things differently. And it all depended on what your home financial background was. Having lost my father at the age of 22, I did not have choices that would lead me to professions where I could not earn my own money. You know, I had to support myself. So even among my friends, there were very few who had those opportunities to do things that were different. But today, I must say that students, young people are, in fact, they told me if you stay in one job, in one place, it is to your disadvantage. You have to prove that you can take up new challenges, that you can change your job, that you can face different, you have to build your skill sets, etc. We never had those kind. We stuck to our skill sets and yes, and be loyal to the institutions that we took our jobs in, you know, and stayed with them. There's an advantage and disadvantage in that, you know, staying with the institution that you first got your job in. There's an advantage and a disadvantage. But I must say that today's young people, girls and boys, are more open to, I don't know about Goa. I don't know much about Goa, but in the big city. But I see so many young Goan children now going to the cities even for an undergraduate education, because they feel that there are, I don't know, there's more vibrancy in a big city, or they go to Bangalore, they go to Bombay, they go to Delhi. Maybe they want to be challenged a little more.
Step out of the comfort zones, perhaps.
And yes, because they realize that they have to be challenged if they want to. I don't know what the whole reason is, but I will meet people who tell me, I met this lady, I said, you know, 3 of my students have got, three of my students have got admission in your college. I thought, oh, nice. I mean, I've retired so many years now, but you know, they still will say. And yes, we've had several students from Goa who have done extremely well once they've come and they were challenged. But when I was growing up, perhaps we did not have that many opportunities for diversification. We went through the straight and the narrow. Maybe if my financial situation was different, maybe I would have been different. But so I can't really honestly answer that question.
Dr. Martins, the role of the government is very important in walking the talk so far as women empowerment is concerned. How do you envisage that, especially in the government system?
I think the government should be open for discussion. And what I have noticed, like, see, whatever we achieved in, when I'm 37 years old, so many institutions we put in place, like a rights institution. We got a Goa State Commission for Women Act. There's a Women's Commission, women can go there. We got the Women Police Station, so that if anybody has a problem, because other police stations has a problem, we got that in place. There's a Children's Court, Children's Act. So many things and institutions, I'm talking at a larger scale, we put in place because finally it is a government who has to listen, make policies, allocate the budget and see that they are implemented. So you should have a government who is willing to listen to you. Now, all these institutions we put in place, the next important step is to see that they function. And this is where we are lacking today. So that is where I feel that accountability has to be there. We used to have a meeting with all the stakeholders, like the government, the Department of Women and Child, police and whatever. And we used to meet and we used to see where, I'm now talking about justice system. Because the biggest obstacles for women is basically violence, which includes physical, sexual, whatever, emotional, all violence. So if this major obstacle is removed, then we can progress. So those meetings have stopped, and so there is no communication that is happening, and the systems which are there, the efficiency has gone on now so much so that people don't want to go there, and they say if I go there, like as I said, nothing will happen and it further kind of disappoint. So I'm still hopeful. I feel the systems are in place, but we need it to be more efficient. So that's one thing. The second thing is the schemes that the government is coming with. It also needs to be efficient. Okay, now this is in terms of empowerment. And what I found is that there is a very traditional way of of looking at things. So there is a tailoring class. Even if you look at all the tailoring class, beautician's course, making of bags, now home care nursing. These are also very, very stereotyped. And we've had women who've done 4-5 courses of these, but still don't find gainful employment. I think we just need to be a little wider in our thinking. Like I would, if the government asked me today, what would you propose? I would think that renewable energy is a big area where women can contribute. If we get, and women in energy and other countries also are doing great work. So if you start putting solar panels on every house, okay? And women are making the solar panels. You train the women to make the solar panels. You can sell them, you can learn installation. You are generating electricity. We have a huge electricity problem. So why not include women in these mainstream? Why are we just stereotyping courses for women? So, and diversify. So we just need to look beyond. And there are successful models which have happened. So if, and now I think with our MP getting power and renewable energy, this would be a great opening. I mean, right from the grassroots up to the policy making, and if the government is willing. So this is an area that one could push. So you will generate employment. Also, you will do sustainable development. So I would push for something like this. Look in agriculture. Now, agriculture, we don't have labor, and our fields are lying fallow. We had such a big food crisis during COVID times when transport was stopped. There is a flood. We can't get vegetables we get from Belgaum, we get from neighboring states. We can't get. Why not be self-sufficient in own food production? And now the 2 agriculture colleges are doing very good, and the girls who are climbing coconut trees. So why not train women? Now tractors, for example, why can't we have tractors driven by women? Okay, if we can have women, planes and pilot, we can have tractors. And women have always been in agriculture, of course, doing the backbreaking job of transplanting, whatever. And if we can mechanize, train our women, and also provide our marketing them, we will be self-sufficient, there will be food security, and also we are providing gainful employment. So we have to look at it like a larger, see it is, these are the things a society needs. How can we give this to all, whether they are men and women, on an equal basis? So if we work collectively, I think we can. It's just you need to have your mind open to receive suggestions, and of course the willpower to implement.